Hello, this is Spencer from theholygoof.com. Introducing you to another holygoof.com podcast. This one's a little different than anything we've done before. We're diving into relationships. We're having a relationship chat between me, a fellow Holy Goof, Zach, and then somebody you should know, Brooke from BLPcoaching.com, a great friend, a great sponsor of the Holy Goof. We can't wait for you to listen to this one. We're diving into a conversation about relationships during COVID, how to maintain them, how to dive into them. Whatever you have a question about, we got it here. We want to know what you think about this conversation because we're talking about things that I think that a lot of people have questions about. Let's get right into it.
Tell me, if you like the world, not the people.
I like the essence of the world, but not the world itself.
You like its organizations, its advertising factotums, its automobiles, its assembly line souls. It's bad.
Well, it's silly.
Let's remove it, huh?
But it feeds me. It brings me cans of pork and beans.
Hello and welcome to the Holy Goof Podcast. I'm Spencer. We got Zach here, another goof, and we got Brooke, a great friend and also our sponsor from BLPcoaching.com. Happy to have you again, Brooke. How you guys doing?
Doing great. How are you, Spencer?
I'm doing well. Excited to talk to you guys again. I know that we don't talk much during the work weeks, the busy COVID work weeks that we have going on now. I'm so happy to see you guys, if not in person, then via Zoom.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
almost as good.
Just almost as good. Everyone's doing well, though?
Yeah.
Doing
Can't
good.
complain.
No.
Great. So we're here. I guess we're gonna have a conversation about relationships. I guess this is I know this is an important conversation to have right now during this quarantine and during a point in time where we don't have connections anymore. And I know, Brooke, you being, having clients and talking to people about their, mental state during this time, there has to be a lot of conversation about relationships and growth and how people are connecting at this point in time, right?
No, everyone's thriving right now, right? We're all doing great, right? We're all like, yeah, I feel happy. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely one of the number one issues that people I work with are kind of confronting right now is how are we getting our social needs and our emotional needs met through our interpersonal relationships whenever we have less people that we're interacting with, we're interacting less frequently. And when we do, oftentimes we're kind of disconnected from people because of the way that we're sort of isolated right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know when we first got quarantined, my now wife and I were planning our wedding, and we were. We
also, guys, sorry to cut you off, Zach, but this is a newly married man. Let's give him a little round of applause.
Yay!
He was one of the very few people who got married during quarantine.
Yeah. Made it happen. But like I was saying, we were, already living together, but then both getting laid off and both having to stay home and everything. We were like, if we can make it through a couple months here,
marriage will be a breeze. Yeah.
Yes.
That's actually funny you say that because I always tell people, like, if you're engaged and you don't live together and you want to see what it's like go on vacation together for 2 weeks and see if you still feel the same way.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, whenever I'm divorced or I was married previously, and I said to my parents who are very strict when it comes to this, I said, look, if I'm going to get married again, I'm going to live with this person first because I need to make sure this time. And I'm glad that I did and found a great girl. So there's no fear of anything actually going wrong. But
Zach, I'm actually curious about that. How did just living with somebody, how does that change things? I've never been through that really before.
It changes a lot of things, and we kind of jumped right into it. Like we moved in together. We got a shared bank account the day after we moved in together. We figured why are we going to be sharing money and paying for things. Let's just do it all right now. So it changes things a lot, and it makes you, I think, well, at least for me, really kind of laid out how the rest of our lives are going to go. And then I see it more of like as a teamwork thing, especially when you're living together and you're all sharing responsibilities, we're sharing paying for things and just having to coexist.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah.
But I think we do it. I mean, there's times where, I mean, even though I'm 30 years old, I still enjoy playing video games. And there will literally be times where she'll tell me, she'll go, "Can you go play video games for a while? I need some time alone." I'm like, "Hey, that's fine." And we're both cool with that, which is awesome because like we both, we live together. We love hanging out. We love being together. But at the same time, we also give each other space and we have times to ourselves, even though we're in the same house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that I mean, I'm guessing because I've never been in that kind of relationship before, but you want your space, but at the same time, if you're living together, it's so hard to find that kind of I guess the middle point where you could both have your own times apart from each other in the same house. I've never been near a new house, but hopefully it's large so you can separate.
It's not. No, but I mean, the room I'm in now, I'm not going to make everybody twist around and see it, but the room I'm in now is kind of like my space. Like I have all my music and all my sports stuff.
You finally got your man cave?
Oh yeah.
No,
don't call it that. That's so basic. Don't call it that. Don't call it that.
My whole life I've wanted one, so I'm gonna call it one. I'm gonna call it.
All right. I won't steal your joy then.
Thanks.
Brooke, for the people that you've talked to, whether it may be in BLP coaching or just friends, have you seen from relationships, is it something where people are trying to pursue relationships or they're in relationships that they're struggling right now?
I think people are in different scenarios, right? There are single people who are kind of trying to navigate this weird space of like, how do I get to know someone without spending a lot of time in person with them, especially when you're trying to figure out like chemistry, right? Like it's not really something you can necessarily tell over a digital conversation. But then there's also people that are in solid relationships, and this is just adding stress to it for them. And so they have to kind of find new communication strategies, new patterns of sort of accommodating the other person's needs so that both partners are able to get what they need without stomping on the other.
Yeah. Just from what you said, it kind of sparked a thought in my head. I think the COVID might have been a great test for new relationships for people. Yeah.
So I'll be honest, I had met a guy in February. We were dating and he had said like, oh, I just like, it doesn't seem, we've only been dating for a few weeks. Why would we keep this going if we can't see each other in person?
I mean, that is tough.
Yeah.
But
I think it's complicated, but it's also worth it. I mean, human connection is sort of one of the basic fundamental needs that we all share. We've all heard the expression, no man is an island. That's absolutely true. Like we start to go a little loopy when we're alone for too long.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I am basically alone all the time. Just from working from home, I don't have any human connection. When I do, it's just like over the phone, Zoom calls, things like this. Brooke, you're probably the first female I've talked to in a long time via Zoom call, aside from family members. So, mostly because as a single man, I've actually tried to, because there's a whole dating app thing. I've tried to avoid that right now because as I get older, I realize that I have no patience to try to get to know somebody right now. If I do, it has to be super organic. I just don't. I don't have the patience. So like, hey, what do you do for work? Hey, what are your hobbies? That seems terrible to me. I don't want to do that.
Terrible. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, as someone who actively uses dating apps, it sucks. It's the worst. I mean, like
you have
nobody
the same
wants to be
conversations.
doing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, when you are like, so with me, I am surrounded by women. There aren't men in my field. So, I mean, there's some, but most of the time they're like 70. and married
Yeah.
and have grandkids my age, you know?
Yeah.
So dating apps are kind of one of the only real ways for me to meet someone. But yeah, like it's like 9 out of 10 suck. No
Oh,
offense to
definitely.
you guys out there, but like step your game up.
Question for you then. How do we
Yeah.
do that? How do we do that?
Well, I think there's a difference in saying like a person's personal preferences, and I don't want to like really get too much into that because I don't think that would be beneficial for anybody else. But I think there are certain things that every human really appreciates, like, you know, like ask questions. Like that's a really great way to connect with someone. We have a tendency to share. If you're like me, you're an oversharer. I'm like, here's everything about me. Take it or leave it. Yeah, right. And people don't necessarily like to be talked at. They want to be spoken to and they want to be communicated with, right? And so the best way to do that is asking questions. So it's never a bad idea to kind of feel things out and have clear, direct communication, which is like a lost art these days. People do not like to be very clear about what they want. But
Yes.
we're adults. We need to be able to communicate our feelings effectively to one another. That was some kindergarten level stuff, you know?
Yeah. I mean, as someone who, I mean, I have dating apps, and I was a frequent user before COVID. And when COVID hit, I was just like, not worth it. But I do pride myself on my creative ability to ask good questions.
Yeah.
But what would you think are good questions to ask a girl that you just met on a dating app?
Oh boy. I think, you know, you have to really read the scenario. That's something that we have a lot of gray area when we're talking to people on dating apps. Like you could just be talking about your dog, and I'm sorry guys, I hate to call you out, but like you just get a random dick pic. Like that
Come
happens
on.
a lot. Like a lot. So that's like rule number 2. Like don't ever send your genitals without explicit permission. That I shouldn't have to say that, but that happens way more than you would think. And I would say, like, just be a decent human. Like, ask someone what they're interested in. What do you care about? What's your relationship like with your friends and family? What do you do for fun? What's something that makes you feel like valued and appreciated? Like, ask, like, what's your love language? What have you had for lunch? Like, just care about what that person is dealing with in their life.
When
I was, go ahead, Zach.
Well, when I was on dating apps, I met my wife on Tinder. So
no way. That's awesome.
I think I knew that, but I forgot about that.
Yeah, you did know that because I told you about it. It was years ago, but I always tried to ask questions based on somebody's bio, and if they didn't have a bio that wasn't just like, you know, I like dogs or whatever, then I don't even remember which way to swipe, but I'm swiping to the no side. If you don't have a bio that says anything about you, I'm not just, you know, I was using it for more than just looking at pictures. So my questions were always based off of their bio.
So I have a question, and I'm sure you guys may or may not know this and are familiar with the term thirst trap. What do you guys consider that word? Right. Okay. So I have a built-in thirst trap into my dating profile. It's a picture of me, like a video in a bikini. And if a guy comments on that, I know, move it down the road, honey. You're thirsty. Like,
my God.
Yes, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Okay. So this is great. This is great because now I know, because I thought about this before.
It's a test. We're testing you guys.
You're the worst. Because I thought about this before when I go through Tinder or other dating apps. I never comment on the sexy pictures.
Right.
Always the ones that are like, there's maybe a side of her face showing.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you know what? And every time I would do that too, I'm thinking like, oh, you know what? I'm different than everybody else because I'm not commenting.
Exactly. I knew.
But now I know you're doing it.
See, I knew it was a test. I'm smart.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's 100%.
Jeez.
Because the cornballs are always going to be like, the cornballs are always going to comment on the bikini pictures.
Hard eyes, you know, the emoji.
Yeah, right.
Like, okay, we get it. You're horny.
Oh, so now Brooke just gave up the tricks of the trade.
Yeah.
You
Sorry
guys are
that I'm sending it
exposed.
all out tonight.
You guys are exposed. No, yeah, no, I just I had a hard time entertaining dating apps after COVID. Before that, I would definitely go on dates here and there based on different dating apps. Of course, it took a months, maybe 2 months, sometimes less than that, to like have those conversations. Like, what do you do for a living? Are you a psycho? Kind of thing. And then eventually we go on the date, but like nothing materialized from that. But after COVID, it just didn't seem like. I mean, every now and then I go back in, but like at this point, I'm not going to try to meet anyone. And I'm also not really interested in having a relationship because my thing
It's kind of
is,
futile right now. What are you going to do in a relationship if you can't be together?
yeah, just to look into my personal life. My thing is, I just don't. I mean, I say I want a relationship, and then as soon as I get into one, I'm like, this sucks.
Well, you know what? When you find the right one, it's not. It won't suck.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean.
When I say this sucks, I mean there's a lot of responsibility that I didn't.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Relationships are not all fun and games. They take a lot of hard work to be a good relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, you have siblings, you just never fight with your siblings. It's the same idea. If you're in that close of quarters with someone that frequently, you're going to argue. And if you love them and care about them, it's really on you to figure out how to navigate those arguments without hurting each other.
Right. And frankly, it gets harder when you, especially right now, because I'm so used to being by myself and only having an answer from me. Even with my mom, like my mom can tell me to do something and I'm always going to do what my mom wants me to do. But like, if I'm in a relationship and a girl's like, you should be doing this more, I'm just like,
tell me what to do again. I dare you.
I'm used to doing my own thing now. So as this COVID thing goes longer and longer and my quarantine becomes more inert, it's so much. It's going to be so much harder for me to like accept someone into my life. That's going to be like, you need to change. Yeah, like eat this way, clean this up.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a real test for people who want to get involved in serious relationships, which is why I think this is a great discussion to have right now, just about our ideas about forming serious, bonded relationships with people.
Yeah. So Brooke, along those lines, I was thinking of things to ask you here, and I thought my wife and I, we, like I said before, we like to have our alone time, and then we also have different friend groups, and yeah, we're friends with the same people in certain cases, but finding things that we like to do together on a regular basis is something that we are still kind of molding out. But like, we started going to like couples personal training together a couple times a week, and then we do the HelloFresh meals, so we cook together at night. But like, I guess I was wondering if that's something that comes up a lot with your coaching or things like that with couples. If like, are people trying to find things to do together, or is that something you recommend to people?
I highly recommend that, right? So even between like a parent and child, there are 3 activities that I almost always recommend that are incredibly bonding. It is reading to one another, cooking a meal together, and building a craft or some sort of like small home project together. Nothing that's going to be stressful. But the idea of those 3 things require a back and forth. And we know from neuroscience that we call it the rat-a-tat, if you will, is critical in, okay, I don't want to get too much. The word is interpersonal neurobiology, meaning you can impact your brain's functioning through these interpersonal interactions, right? So if you're giving someone all the directions and that person's just doing it, it's like, but as you work as a team and you cooperate, honey, can you pass me the wrench? You hear her request, you respond to it. What that's called is attunement. And so when you can attune yourself to your partner's needs and vice versa, it really sets up that really good sweet spot in our brains to share a connectedness and feel actually like you're communicating effectively. Because that's how language was really designed, is this back and forth. So once again, cooking together, making a project together, and reading to one another. They're just both, all 3 of those are excellent bonding activities for couples.
Ooh, That's interesting.
Yeah.
I have a question too.
Sure.
Because I want to break myself down a little bit here now as well. Um, I've always been a kind of romantic, Zach.
Okay.
You know.
I do. You are.
And I feel like as I get older, now that I'm getting older, I am less and less like inclined to wanting somebody because when I hear all these things that you guys are talking about, like cooking together and working together, to me that sounds like annoying because I don't want someone to tell me what to do, when to start cooking, when to start cleaning, all that stuff. And so when I was younger, in my early 20s, I always wanted somebody to be there and like help me out with these kind of things.
Sure.
And also not just help me out, but like be there with me, to be like a partner. But as I get older, I'm like, I can do everything myself. I don't want anyone to help me with this. And I feel like it'd be annoying if someone was there badgering me the whole time. How do I break down those boundaries and those barriers?
Okay, that's an excellent question. So I want to say, first of all, there is absolutely nothing wrong with choosing to spend your life single. Like, let's just debunk that myth that you have to have a partner to have a healthy life. That's some, can I say bullshit?
You can say bullshit. You can say whatever you want.
Right, yeah. That's some bullshit. Okay?
That's
like, no.
also, Brooke, that's something that I don't want to do, but I feel myself becoming a curmudgeoned old man.
Okay, so what you were talking about is something that a lot of people in their 30s experience, right? So first of all, your lifestyle—
Not 30 yet.
Okay, late 20s. Let's be kind to Spencer for a few more months. But a lot of people, as their lives slow down, you're probably not going out, I'm guessing. Like, you're not hitting up bars and clubs till 4 a.m. anymore. And while those things were fun and they served you in that part of your life, now it doesn't. And I'd want to say there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking your time to reassess and decide, what do I want out of a relationship? Maybe you want a relationship with really strong boundaries and you want to let someone in slowly. You're allowed to do that. So, you don't have to jump in. And I want to say that that's actually something that our age group has a bit of a bad habit of just being like, oh my goodness, we met on Saturday. Let's get married. No offense, Zach. I know you said you guys jumped right in and it worked for you. And that's great.
Oh, no. We didn't. No.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
We were together for 5 years.
Yeah. So a lot of people, I think, really feel like this, like, I need to do it now. And like, there's nothing wrong with establishing levels of intimacy. You are allowed to ask someone to build your trust before you give away parts of your heart. Maybe for you, Spencer, your home is your sanctuary. I lived alone for 5 years. I didn't want anybody telling me how to live my life in my home. Like, this is my space. I cultivated this. I created this. You're a guest, if anything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And my mom would always be like, oh my goodness, you're so closed off. Like, no, I'm self-sufficient and I don't have to allow someone to invade my peace. That's allowed, right? Yes. So maybe for you, Spencer, you're the kind of person that needs to date. And when I say date, I mean date with the intention of getting to know one another on dates. Like, don't bring someone into your space until you feel like they've earned the right to access your inner sanctum, if you will.
It seems so exhausting.
It is exhausting. It takes time, right?
Yeah. It honestly, when I think about it, it would have to be the right woman for me to take my time.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Like, if I waste my time on another woman, I swear to God. That's it.
No, I hear you. I say that all the time. Like, I'm not picky by any means, but like, I really don't need anybody else in my life. So like, the bar's pretty high.
Yeah. And the bar should be pretty high for you, Brooke.
And you as well, Spence.
Thank you very much. I know that we had some questions picked out. Can we just ask one of these straight up right now?
And I got some rapid fire things for you guys because I want to get inside y'all brains too.
Let's do it.
I think that Brooke, you should go ahead and go first. Ask the question to either.
All right. So one of the things that I have noticed in my life, and I always ask my dates this question, is, do you do a background check on your Tinder dates?
Oh man, I dive deep. And you know
Do you
what?
actually like get a background, like a criminal background check on them?
No.
Okay, Spencer.
No.
Yeah, see, this is the reaction I get from most men.
I
This is
just go
a
back
friendly-
into their Instagram profile to see
Yeah, right.
what's
Yeah.
going on.
I
Twitter,
want to like
Facebook.
as a friendly PSA of what women do before a blind date. Okay, we're not just creeping on your Facebook, your Instagram. We're checking for a criminal background because there's a very real threat to us when we go out on dates. We are constantly aware.
Hey, Brooke, can you give the woman out here that are watching this podcast the website to go to do that? Because I wouldn't even know how to start to look at
So
criminal
first of all,
backgrounds.
don't pay for shit. If you live in Pennsylvania, go to PA dockets, and just all you need to know is that
Oh,
person.
you know what? I
name.
did look up people.
Yeah.
I did look up people on PA dockets. That's a lie. I did. Okay, if that's what you mean by background check.
Because it tells you what their offense was and if it's closed and active and everything like that. It's all public records.
Not
The
gonna lie,
website-
I've looked up both of you on there. So.
Oh God!
I look at when I first downloaded the app, I looked up everybody I knew. I was
Oh
like,
my
you know what?
gosh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna see what
sometimes
all
it's
of
fun.
you did. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, the website is padockets.com. Is that it?
I think it's
Okay.
.org or
That
There's
something.
an app, PAE dockets. There's an app.
Yeah,
I have it on my
that's it.
phone.
Yeah.
For Pennsylvania, I'm sure
For
you can
Pennsylvania.
I'm
find.
sure every state has some sort of corresponding database of criminal charges.
Yes, I should probably do that myself. Men also protect yourselves. Protect
What's that,
yourself.
Spencer?
I was saying, men also protect yourselves and look
Yeah.
up your ladies.
I feel like men, they don't understand. Like women can be terrible too, y'all. Like protect yourselves. So and not just that, but like I don't know if every woman does this, but most of the women I know turn on their locator on their phone and like let 2 or 3 other people know to keep an eye on it and make sure that someone's not like kidnapping them or something. Because these are things like women actually worry about. So if I were to give one piece of advice and you really want to step up your game as a man, like send her your first and last name and be like, hey, in case you were wondering about me, feel free to do a little digging because it shows some transparency and it puts us at ease. Like, okay, great. I don't have to like worry that this guy's going to stuff me in his trunk. I know that's like a psycho thing to say, but that's like the kind of anxiety thought that a lot of women have before a date. Y'all are over here like, do I smell okay? And we're like, oh my God, do I have my stun gun just to be sure? Like, so it's important, I think, to recognize when you're doing any kind of blind dating that like women really appreciate the extra efforts you go to ensure safety for us.
Hey, Zach, do you see the remaining meeting
Yeah.
time on there?
Yep. We've got 10 minutes.
Oh, I see that. I'm okay.
Do you know how
Rapid
to?
fire, fellas. Let's do this.
Okay, it's gonna be longer than that. I was gonna extend it if that's possible.
Oh, go for it.
You got to pay for it.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's wrap it up, I guess.
We'll just keep doing rapid fire stuff. Brooke, if you want to
Yeah.
ask like 2 more, and then we'll try to fit some in.
Okay.
Okay. So one of the questions I would ask Zach is to let me know, what do you think are your and your wife's greatest couple strengths? What are things that you guys do well that you think other people should benefit from?
Good question. I know one thing that I think we do really well, that kind of I think goes a little unnoticed, is that when we are in a public setting, like say a party or even just like a family get together, and let's say it's usually me, does something to upset her, she and I both don't make it obvious to everybody else that we're pissed off at each other. It's always wait until like, and we talked about that when we were early on in our dating lives, to keep that, because I mean there's nothing worse,
Like private.
right? But there's nothing worse than being somewhere and you see a couple fighting over there and you're just like, this is awkward. You two, yeah.
Dude,
So
that's so beautiful. That's what I want. That's what I want in a relationship, to be like, if I'm mad at you, let's wait. I'm not gonna fight with you right now. I'm just gonna give you that look and be like, we can do this later.
There's that, and also, I mean, we did it yesterday. We also just take time to really try to really openly communicate with each other. Like Shannon, like we were cooking dinner yesterday, and she goes, "Tell me anything that's bothering you." And so
Love that.
we kind of do that, and just
Yeah, this proactive communication. You don't wait for things to build up. You
Right.
kind of I'm here. Let's listen. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I think that's great. And I just want to like throw in like my little 4-step ingredients for like a good assertive communication when you're confronting a grievance with your partner. And I teach like the kids that I work with how to do this. I teach little children, I teach adults. Everybody can be assertive. It's incredibly important. But when someone has hurt you or, done something that you're kind of like, you want to explain what happened. Like, Zach, you ate all the spaghetti out of the refrigerator and I was saving it for my lunch. How do I feel about that is the second part. Like, I feel frustrated that you didn't consider me. And what do I want you to do about that then? Then I would tell you, like, please next time ask me before you eat leftovers because I might be using them. And then you want to give a little reinforcer, like what's in it for them? So you would say, like, I would feel more valued and I'd be able to connect with you better if I didn't have a hangry stomach right now, right?
Yeah.
You know what? That's
sure.
actually super relatable because I do that all the time. I eat.
Yeah, we all do. That's the kind of stuff I do. I'm a terrible, I'm very like, oh, food for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a random question from a single man.
Yeah.
How soon can I DM you after you broke up with your significant other?
Listen, man.
How long do I have to wait?
I'd say shoot your shot. Like, just do it. Be
really the day of. I've been looking at your page. I've been looking at your page for years, just waiting for you to break up with your man.
Baby.
Well, see, then my thing is like if you do it too soon, then you end up just becoming like a rebound, and they're gonna eventually after like a week or two be like, "Look, I wasn't ready," and then you're like, you lost your chance.
But listen,
are you asking me to tell you, like, what is your clinical opinion on when?
No. This is not clinical. This is just straight up.
Yeah. So like, I'll be honest. I don't believe in the 3 days rule. Like, don't wait to call me. Text me on your way home and tell me you had a great time. I'm gonna be like, oh my God. Like, I'm a very, very open and very like love just comes pouring out of me. Like, once my dopamine and serotonin get going with my oxytocin, that's like your love hormone, like the one that makes you feel connected. You're having like a good date and things are going well. Like, I love that pink bubble feeling, like riding that high. So like, I say shoot your shot, but like, just once again, be a decent person. If a woman says to you like, hey man, I appreciate it, but I don't want to lead you on, give me some time. Like, don't text her again tomorrow. Like, good morning, sunshine. Like, that's annoying.
Hey, you.
Yeah. Or like, if I tell you I'm doing something and you say without me, like, yeah, duh. Like,
yeah, hey, you is the ultimate fuckboy. Like, hey.
Yeah.
Or then like when if you say like, oh, are you sure? Like, of course I'm sure. And it just took everything in me to turn you down nicely. And this is another thing I'm gonna say. Sorry if I'm like giving you guys like a real feminist rant here, but like, men, learn to accept no. We're already afraid to tell you no because of the horrible things that happen to other women. So like, just if a woman says no thanks, just respect that. We're not going to shoot you down and be cruel to you unless you keep bothering us.
Yes.
So shoot your shot, fellas. Some of us would be incredibly thrilled because maybe we just got out of a horrible relationship and the guy didn't appreciate us. And it's like, oh my goodness, somebody actually does care. I'm not crazy. It's not me. And some people maybe you're like, hey, I'm not ready. But like, if you're talking to an adult, they should be able to communicate with you in a clear way and say like, now's not the right time, but I'll reach out to you when I'm ready.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And ladies, just to let you know, there are guys waiting for you to figure out that your boyfriend sucks.
That's not what I thought you were going to
say. We are out here waiting for you to realize that you're in a terrible relationship, and we will DM you as soon as you break up with this man. That's why I
about their dating. That's not cool.
Brooke, we're running out of time, but I have one question, and it's a little bit relationship related and a little bit not. It's something that it's something that I see a lot, and it bothers me as a guy. And I know that as like a white guy, I don't have a lot to complain about. But
appreciate your self-awareness.
Zach, I got one question after this. Hopefully you can squeeze it in, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Make it a quick. All right. So obviously, like, accept everybody's bodies. That's a big thing, especially on Instagram with, women, girls, all that. But at the same time, I see the same people that post that stuff posting stuff like, if the guy's not 6 foot, goodbye. That I can't help
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
can't,
Let's talk about that.
That's
Yes,
a good
absolutely.
question, Zach.
Like,
That's why
And I want to
I-
say that's probably good for another day because men, y'all have gotten screwed over. You don't get to wear makeup. You don't get to do your hair all long.
You don't
over.
get to like add
You can't wear
stuff.
high heels or like
Change
girdles. Like we have like all these tricks, and they're like, "Oh man, here's a t-shirt. Try to look good." Like
Yep.
it's hard for you too. And you know what? That's some bullshit to think that men don't have body image issues. Have a heart.
I have a
baby.
ton.
You know, like
oh
don't
my goodness.
belly-
We're gonna do a sequel of this.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, we're
one
gonna
quick
have
question
to.
before we wrap it up. What do you, Brooke, what do you expect from a man in a relationship? What do you expect from a man, your significant other in a relationship? What do you need from them to make you feel, or to just make the relationship,
Really good question. So I always joke and say my kink is emotionally whole, committed men. Like that's what really gets me going. I'm not kidding. I once saw a guy that I was just friends with. We were out hanging out one night. I went to Sheets to go to the bathroom after the bar, and he was helping a man bring in a package from the rain, like a delivery guy. And I was like, I think I like you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So like, I'm not kidding you guys. Women love empathy. Like show that you
Empathy.
actually care about things. Be kind to not just your like her, like be kind to someone else. And chances are she'll be like, what are you doing?
Nice. All right. Well, great discussion, guys. We're gonna do a sequel on this. There's so much more to talk about. Thank you so much, Brooke, for joining us. I cannot wait for the next conversation about this.
Yeah.
But again, BOP coaching, please go to it. Use the promo code HolyGoof25 for 25% off
Packages and single sessions.
Yes. Use the promo code. Thank you guys. Once again, this is the Holy Goof podcast. Talk to you later.